Hello, everyone. I don't know whether I'm saying Abuja is going to go back to the dark days when we literally were all afraid for our lives. You'll be on the queue, you're afraid whether a bomb is going to go off. It was such terrible times. I mean, people were in fear, people were in shock. I will never forget in 2014, all of this happened in 2014, right? That Emma Plaza bombing that happened. I was in that place in the morning. I had gone to buy what do you call it, relaxer. Then I was still relaxing my hair, so I was going to do retouching. And I had lived opposite there before we moved from there to our own or our own house. So I had lived in Candy Close, opposite from the upstairs that I used to live. I used to overlook Barnes Plaza and all of that. I used to send my son. Literally, my son was the one that used to go and do my check. I sent him to the bank with the check to go and pay the check in when I'm doing transfer to the. But then I had not started doing online banking, and so I sent my kids there to go and buy fruits during Ramadan. There's those fruit sellers, and because when my son came, he asked of them, like they were all affected, and my son was really hurt about it because he used to connect with them. He used to go and buy fruits and stuff like that from those people. And that morning, and I always said, if the people who had done that bombing decided to go that morning at the time that I was there, I would have been part of the victims that would have happened. I remember those days. There was one of particular day when terrorists had sent letters. Some of these things we tend to forget them as we move on and forget where we were coming from for certain things that people do. When I see people glorifying or just making it as if nothing happened, it's really like people died in these things. And I remember the day that my daughter, they had sent letter. Boko Haram will do this thing where they're sending letters to people threatening them not to come out. They had sent letters to schools, and a lot of schools didn't open. Some schools, a lot of parents didn't bring their children. And that day was the following day, the day after they sent that letter, was a prize giving in my daughter's school. And when we woke up, honestly, myself and my husband were just looking at each other when we saw the whole news the night before, like, okay, what do we do? Do we stop her from not going? And then it's like, do we allow this fear? Do we allow this fear to someone to be crippled by fear and everything? And so we couldn't come to it. So we're like, we now met with her, because we do that with our children a lot. We're like, we now met with our children, with my daughter. We're like, okay, Aliyah, see what she was like, no, mommy, no, daddy, that she has worked so hard. She had worked so hard for her results that she cannot allow anybody to stop her from going to school because they sent letter. And myself and my husband, we just looked at each other, and I took my daughter to school that day. I took my daughter to school that day, not because I was brave. I took my daughter to school that day with fear. And I was going, and I didn't know whether when I go back to pick my daughter from school, whether I'm going to pick a child or I'm going to pick a body. It's one of those, I've spoken about this long time before. It was one of those most difficult decisions we have had to do. But I dropped my daughter in school, knowing that whatever happens, that she decided she was not going to be cowed by monsters who have resorted to taking people's lives. And so I dropped my daughter in school that day, and luckily no attack happened. But there are a lot of places and a lot of schools and a lot of towns that weren't, and a lot of parents that weren't so lucky. Some parents have dropped their children in school, and what they came to collect were bones and pieces of body. I remember I think it was Potiskum boys who were attacked while they were while they were doing their morning assembly, and this suicide bomber wore uniform like them, and he went in and detonated it. Why am I saying all of these things? Abuja again, in military camp. They've gone, if they can walk into military camp and try to detonate something, what about the rest of the people? What about us? And I saw even US embassy had put a warning to their citizens that they should know that this explosion had happened and stuff like that. But I'm not, this Tinubu is illegitimate government. I don't know what the National Security Advisor is doing. There is no, it's as if they are downplaying everything. They just think that if they put media blackout where media don't talk about it, then this whole thing will go away. They are not, in short, Borno State governor have been crying out. A lot of towns are being taken over by Boko Haram again. A lot of attacks going on. A lot of our soldiers are being killed. And yet you see there's silence. There's nothing from the illegitimate president and commander-in-chief. There is nothing. It's almost as if nothing is going on. Or, you know, I say, oh, don't talk about it. As if it's unbelievable. Nigerians are being killed every day. Military are being killed. Soldiers are being killed. Towns are being overtaken. It's so crazy that you're just sitting there and thinking, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's it. Oh my goodness. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has come out to say that that the explosion that happened on Monday afternoon in Abuja is a result of IED, that's a bomb carried by a suspected suicide bomber. And then they put it out on their verified X this thing that it was in front of Abacha Barracks, Mogadishu Cantonment, along Abuja Kefi Road. And then what they said was that it was the suicide bomber alone that died. Who is this suicide bomber? What is it? Up till now, for all the suicide bombings that have happened in Nigeria, there is not one that has been identified by the Nigerian authorities. Meanwhile, where was DSS? When they are going to do peaceful protests, DSS will tell you that they have intel, they've gathered this, they've gathered that, they've gathered those. Then you see DSS and you are wondering, DSS, where are you? When these people, can't you gather intel on terrorists? Can't you go after terrorists, alienate them, go after them? You understand? Use the machinery to level them. The country will be grateful for you because these are people who are killing people. But no, you will not see intelligence, police that will come after protesters. They are not there to go after terrorists. So military, this thing, DSS, or whatever you call it, it is only when it comes to protesters that they know they have mouth and everything to put it out there, and begin to talk about this issue. It's crazy. And then, in this report here by BBC, it also talked about the history of suicide bomb blast in Abuja, and it talked about the one that there's the one of 2010 that had happened. This 2010, when was it? I think this October 1st, 2010 at the Eagle Square. There is that one. There is 2011 a UN building. UN building. Oh gosh, there's one lady that when she was a member of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, she of course came out to make demands for Chibok girls. In her own case, her daughter was writing. Her daughter was, I think it was university, her final year research program. She went to the building that day to go and collect materials. That was how the girl. Luckily, she's even among the lucky ones. The girl survived, though she was she had life. How do I put it now? Disability. As a result of that, she has to use the wheelchair. A lot of things, going on. Even the Chibok girls incident. On the day that the Chibok girls were abducted, the night, in the morning of it, was when they did the Nyanya bombing in April 2014. April 14, 2014. They did Nyanya bombing in the morning in Abuja, and then they did the Chibok girls abduction, at night. Then this one say same so you have in 2011, 27 August, there was Central Business District bomb blast, UN building. Then on Christmas Day of the same 2011, 35 people died in another bomb blast at St. Teresa Catholic Church, Madala. And then you have April 14, 2014. That's the one I just spoke about, which is the Nyanya bus park. And then on May 1st, on May 1st at a nearby garage also. 2014 there was another blast that where about 19 people died, and then in June 2014 another bomb blast happened in one popular plaza for Wuse. That's the one I talked about earlier, that I said I was in that place that morning when that blast happened. October 3rd 2015, two bomb attacks happened at the same time in two locations, one in Kuje, another one in Yanya. And then you have uh, then there was one in primary school in Buhari, January this year. And yeah, I think I remember that primary school on where they said some kids had picked, is it primary school Islamia, that some kids picked something. It's just crazy. The silence is nothing. Tinubu's illegitimate administration doesn't seem to be focused on anything. The National Security Advisor seems to be more focused on political issue than security issue.